So how was the morning so far? Good. Cold outside. It's not so cold, right? But it's snowing. Right? So like on that. Okay. So quick announcements. In the School of Business on February 23, we are going to have a very important event which is called Cruise Conference. It's February 23, room 1000, VH 1000, which is basically this month, right? From 3:30. So if you have no class on that time, we strongly recommend to. Okay. And also that contradict with our office hours, right? Because Thursday we have office hours 5, right? So I'll be in my office until 3:30. Then if you need me on February 23, you can find me. Okay. If you have no class, join there. It's a really, really good event. We'll have some industry professionals, Ryan Murphy, and we'll have professor from Florida International University. So you can find some academicians there, also you can find some industry professionals. Okay. Before we start, most of you are new with this instrument, right? And I prefer, if you're taking finance class, you should be expert with this one. Because it's really, really challenging to memorize standard of my formula. Okay? For the entire life. Even I really don't know any formula anymore. Right after I'm just out of my head. Okay? So it's better if you know these instruments. So you should not need to memorize any formula. So before we start, any question about any specific functionality of this instrument, like, I don't know what this means, I don't know. Anything you feel like. I actually already recorded a video and it's available in Blackboard, right? I just made 2 versions. One is like very basic intro, what each specific button means, and then how to use for time value of money, right? We will do it. So for the time value of money thing, right now you have no concepts. So even if you don't understand what's going on, it's okay. We'll go over all of these problems one by one. That should be fine. But about the intro, any questions, any concerns you have, which you want me to go over again? We're all good. Okay. Then let's get started. So today we'll start chapter 5, time value of money, on the most important concepts. If you're taking finance classes, the most important concept. So that's why I recommend from now on, keep this with you. And also, if possible, have your laptop with you so that we can go to Excel and we can also learn how to do it in Excel. Okay. So now, we already know that timeline, right? When you say 0, what does it mean? It's today. When you say 1, what does it mean? Future. Could be 1 month, 1 year, right? Now let's say I want to give all of you $100, but I'm giving you a conditions. Today or 1 year later, what do you prefer? And why? Why not 1 year later? Alex?
Because you can use the money now and you also like invest it and make it grow.
Absolutely. So if I give you the same amount of money now, you can put it in a bank, the very safe one, right? The very safe. At least you can generate some sort of 1% or 5% return, right? But if I give you the money 1 year later, you are losing the opportunity to invest, right? So that's why similar amount of money has different value if you receive in different time. In finance, we talk about money a lot. But when we talk about money, it is not only the amount of money, it is also the timing of money that we need to understand, which is also important. So that's why if we receive any cash flow, whatever the amount is, today, this is called present value of the cash flow. If we receive any cash flow in the future, this is called future value of the cash flow. If you want to receive, it is always better to receive as early as possible, maybe today. If you want to pay, it is always better to pay as late as possible, maybe never, right? So now, if we have present value of cash flow, let's say 100, hypothetically. If you have future value of cash flow, let's say 105, right? How can we make a relationship with these two amounts? What is the missing factor? Yes, I would. Absolutely. Interest rate is the rate between this earlier and later money that will make these two things equal. If you look at the cash flows, it looks like if you have $100 today, And if you can invest at 5% rate, tomorrow it should be 105, right? Make sense? Or if someone is giving you 105 tomorrow, if you discount them back today, it should be like $100, right? So interest rate is the rate that actually helps to make a relationship between these two different cash flows. From the very first class, I told you the only problem in finance is different words. All else are easy. Interest rate, also known as discount rate, cost of capital, opportunity cost of capital, or opportunity cost, recourse. So don't get confused on the test, on the quizzes, if you see some alternative versions. Make sense? So what is present value? What is future value? Now let's say we have $1,000 today, and we want to invest it for 1 year at 5% rate. $1,000 today, we want to invest it for 1 year at 5%. What should be your future value? One year later.
1,050.
1,050. How we get it? Future value should be a function of my principal investment, right? $1,000, my principal investment, plus the return, interest, something we earn on that. So $1,000 plus 1,000 times 0.05, right? So which basically 1,000 plus 50, 1,050. This is my future value. Making sense. I have $1,000 today. Maybe I put it in a bank. 5% interest rate. 1 year later, I will get back my principal $1,000 invested, $50 in interest. Now, if I change the problem, I changed my mind, I want to invest it for 2 years. What should be my future value? I want to invest it for 2 years. I have $1,000 today, 5% rate of return, 2 years. Okay, one information. If you have not signed in, meet me after the class, okay? $1,000, 5%, 2 years. I don't know, you tell me. 1,100, okay. What else? Gotcha.
You said this compounding, you have to also like count $50, so it could be, well, 1,102.
Which one is right, you think? So I got one opinion. I invested $1,000. Each year we can pay $50 interest. I'm investing it for 2 years. So that means $100 is my interest. 1,000 principal, $100 interest. My future value should be 1,100. And I got second opinion, which means we will also generate interest on this $50. So it should be more than 1,100, something $1,102, something like that. What do you think? Which one is correct?
This is- yeah,
Why?
That's pretty neat. Never put them into big premium.
Okay. Anyone else? Any more opinion? In reality, both are correct, but the thing is that right now in finance, we don't do simple interest anymore. Let me explain. In finance or in reality, interest can be calculated two different ways. One is called simple interest, one is called compound interest. This may be like 200 years ago. I don't know, maybe 300 years ago, but we don't do it anymore. We always do compounding. This is simple interest. Our principal is 1,000, right? Each year interest is 1,000 times 0.05, right? And we're gonna do it for 2 years. That will give us 100, right? So our future value should be 1,000 plus 100, which is 1,100. This is old, we don't do it anymore. But this is called simple interest method to calculate future values. In compounding method, it is assumed that we invested $1,000 today. End of year one, we have 1,050, right? We are reinvesting the entire money for 1 more year. This is called reinvestment principle, reinvestment policy. We are not withdrawing this earned $50 of interest, okay? We are reinvesting the entire balance again, our principal and already earned interest. So that's why on year 2, you will generate 1,052 times 0.05, right? Which should be, I believe, 52.5, right? And we already have principal of 1,050. So that should lead you 11 or 2.50. Make sense? In simple interest, it is assumed in the year 1, we are taking out this $50 interest earned, we are consuming it. In compound interest, it is assumed we're gonna reinvest already earned interest. So that's why there will be more value. How can we calculate future value by compounding? This is the formula. Make sense? We know what is future value. We know what is present value, right? This is the interest rate, number of periods. Now you have to be careful. Going forward, this formula will be complex because right now we are assuming annual compounding, right? In practice, it could be monthly compounding, it could be semi-annual compounding. If that happens, this R will become periodic rate. We're going to talk about it a lot, okay, in coming classes. Periodic rate. If I say monthly compounding, 12% annual rate, so that means 12% divided by 12. These are gonna be 1. This T gonna be total number of periods. If I say monthly compounding for 5 years, that means each year we have 12 compounding, right? For 5 years, 5 times 12, 60. I repeat, this is the formula. If we say annual compounding, don't need this here. Just put the 5% or 10% right there. Just put the number of years there. But when you say monthly compounding, semi-annual compounding, right? Monthly compounding means there will be compounding 12 times in a year. Semi-annual compounding means there will be compounding 2 times in a year. So you have to convert the annual rate in periodic rate. And you have to convert these periods in the total number of periods. We'll do some examples. Then it should be clear. So this area is known as future value interest factor. If you know what is our investment today, this is the factor. If you multiply, you'll get the future value. So right now, we will do both formulas and we will do also the financial calculator because I want you to understand the basic mechanisms. Going forward, maybe from next chapter, we will not talk about a formula. It's only calculator. If you know how to operate the calculator, you will not need any formulas. Questions so far? We're done with that. Okay. So let's look at this example. Now we're extending the previous example and we decided we will invest for 5 years, right? 5 years. Still have $1,000 as present value. 5% as rate of return. So we replace the T by 5, right? If we invest $1,000 for 5 years at 5% rate, and we are following compounding interest method, not simple. Compounding interest method, that should be our future value. So in the valuation calculator, you should get this. Now, what if you did not follow the compounding method? Because each year you did not reinvest it, you earned interest. You followed simple interest method. What should be the future value? This one, right? Because we are earning $50 each year for 5 years, 50 times 5, which is 250. 1,000 plus 250 is 250. In compounding, we are getting 1276, $26 more. What is the reason?
Because on each yearly set of $50 that you're reinvesting, that's accumulated investment.
Absolutely, reinvestment principle, right? That is the reason. Due to that, on compounding interest rate, you have more future value. Effect of compounding is basically small if you invest for small number of years. Like if you invest for 1 year, 2 year, or 3 years, effective really, really small. If you invest for a large number of years, long number of years, let's say 30 years. When you start a job, you will be enrolled for an retirement account, right? That may be for until 65, 35 years, 30 years, 40 years, something like that, right? So effect should be more if you invest somewhere for a really long period. Now let's look at this example. If you deposit $10 at 5.5% interest rate for 200 years, compounding method, just $10, 5.5% rate for 200 years. That should be future value. This is present value, $10, 1 plus interest rate, 1 plus interest rate. T is 200, right? Did you see how much? Just $10. Almost $500,000, right? What if you invest $10 with simple interest method? How much is the future value? So in real life, if you want to make an investment plan, what do you prefer? Reinvestments or no reinvestments? Reinvestments, right? Because it will make you more wealthy. Now look at this plot. When the interest rate is more and the number of years of investment is more, you can see that the impact of compounding is really, really large, right? If you look here, $1 investment for 10 years, 0% rate, 5%, 10%, 15%, 20%. $1 investment for 10 years. 0% rate should be the $1, 20% rate should be more than $6. At 6 times. If you make $100, 6 times, more than $600, right? If you make $1,000, if you make $100,000, you can think of the impact, right? 6 times. So if you follow compounding method, if you invest for more years, there should be a really, really large impact because you're earning interest on your already earned interest. Now, if you want to do these problems, so let's say you have a company that expects to increase number of unit sales by 15% per year for the next 5 years. If you currently sell this much of quantity, how many quantity you expect in 5 years? You can think about the current sale quantity is the present value, right? Current sale quantity is the present value. This is your growth rate, so 1 plus the growth rate. Number of years, right? Although it is only 15% growth, but in 3 years, it's more than double, right? Because of compounding. Now let's do these 2 problems. And we'll also do these 2 problems also functional calculator. Let's do by hand first, by the formulas of the process. Then we'll do it by functional calculator. Done. So all done. Or need some time. Let's see. Done. How much you got for problem one?
I got $1,586.
Okay. So your name is Matt, right? Okay. So the formula should be present value 1 plus R. Right? Present value is 500, right? What is the rate of return? 8%, right? So 1 plus 0.08 or 1.08 to the power 5.
Power 15.
Huh?
15. The power.
Oh, sorry, 15. Good catch. So how much you got? 1586.
0.08.
Okay. This is following compounding. If we follow simple interest rate, what should be the answer? 500 plus 500 times 0.08 times 50, right? It should be 1100. Okay. How can you do the final calculation? Any thoughts? How can you do in the final calculation? You want to memorize the formula forever, or you want to forget the formula forever? What do you like? Forget the formula? Okay. So let's switch back to, we'll also do in Excel in the end of the class, okay? How to do it in Excel. Let's see, view, oh, it's too big. So what is the number of years? Number of years. 15, right? So annual compounding, so we don't need to increase it, right? 15. Interest rate. You have to be careful. In financial calculator, 8 means 8%. We don't need to do 8%. 8 means 8%. In Excel or in real life, 8 doesn't mean 8%. You have to do 0.08, okay? Like this. In Excel, in real life, you have to do 0.08, but in financial calculator, 8 means 8%. Do we know present value? Okay. Are we investing or are we receiving? Outflow, right? You have to be careful again. Did you see I put a negative sign in front? In financial calculator in Excel, if you're investing, it's minus 500. If you're receiving, let's say you're borrowing a loan, you're receiving the money, right? That's positive. But you're investing. Negative. Payment should be 0 because we'll talk about payment in upcoming classes. Right? Did you get something? You not? Okay, do again. Here your work. Hit this. Here your work. If you do not get the same thing, we can wait. If here you work, okay? Then
Can you show us which buttons hit first? Can we like go through
again,
Yeah.
for the end of thing, okay. Okay, tell me number of years.
15?
15. 15. Interest rate. 8. Present value. Negative 500. Absolutely. Negative 5. Hit 500, then negative. Present value. Payment 0. We'll explain later why 0. Good so far. Now compute future value. Anyone still struggling? Good. If you know this, no formula required. Yes.
What's the difference between compute and just the equal sign?
Which equal? Which one
The
is it?
one on the bottom right.
Here? This is like a mathematical operator. Like let's say I do 5 plus 5 equals 10, right? When you say 5 plus 5, then this one. This is like a regular mathematical operator. But the top part is for the financial operations, okay? So let's say 5 plus 5. This is for that. Good questions. All good. Let's move on then. Okay. Here. Okay. Good. So this formula is not not new anymore, right? We know this formula, right? If we rearrange, can we do that? Just rearrange. I just took out this one here, multiplication that becomes division, right? Make sense? So this is trying to tell you, if you receive some cash flow in the future, if you discount, this is called discounting. So far we learned compounding. Compounding means grow, right? This is called discounting. If you discount them back, you will get a payment. I just rearrange this formula. If you know the cash flow in the future, discount it by the rate of return you're gonna earn. Make sense? Then let's do it. Do it both ways, okay? You have to tell me both by formula, also by calculator. Done. Okay, who wants to volunteer? Yes,
I got 9,345 something.
okay. So if we use the formula, what to do here? How to find it, what numbers?
It's 10,000 times 1.7, or divided by.
Okay. 10,000 divided by 1.07, that's it? Because it doesn't matter, right? On the calculator. Okay, let's put it out. Yes, now you tell me.
Um. Did you put in like a negative feature? Or the what value?
So basically, you receive or you pay on the future value. You receive, right? Then it's positive, right? So 10,000 future value, payment is 0, and then 1 is year, 7 is interest rate. Absolutely. Right. It's negative because today you're going to invest, right? That's why it's negative. Okay. So the negative sign in the financial calculator means you're paying. Positive sign means you're receiving. But it's not like negative value, no. Then let's do the second example. We all done? Okay. Who wants to volunteer? Someone new? You want, okay, we'll find him. What is your name?
John.
John, okay, we'll find him. You volunteer, okay. Yes.
It's going to be hard to do without,
How to do that?
the values. 20,000.
150,000. Right? How much you got?
40,540.
40,000. 500.
540.
Listen,
23.
0.3. You saw what? On the calculator, what should be the input? Like N1/I, payment, future value, and then the bar relation. What should be the end here? 70. Interest rate. Payment should be 0, right? Future value. Positive or negative? Positive. You're investing today, so present value should be negative. Present value should be that value, right? So the reason is why I'm forcing you to understand positive and negative, because going forward, when you want to do multiple cash flows, and if you don't understand it's positive or negative, your calculator will give you wrong answer. On the test, you're not able to solve it. Sometimes your calculator will give you error. Okay, so you have to tell your calculator, that's a machine, that's not a human brain. You have to tell that calculator that, okay, this is my investment, this is my receivables or something like that. Okay, we have to decide for multiple cash flows, that's gonna be a mess. Make sense? Let's do the final one for you. All done. Okay, who wants to volunteer? Okay. One new hands. Okay, I love 10,000. How much? 10,000. 10,000. So future value is this much, right? Sure. 9,671.51, and then 1 plus 7%. And how much is the year? 10. Okay. 1,000. On the calculator, what should be the end? Okay. 7. Huh? Payment is zero, okay, future value or
Negative 1961.
future value negative? Future value is positive, because on the present value is invested. 1967.1.51, right? Because your parents invested on day zero, right? If they invest on day zero, that means 10 years later, they received it. The future value is not negative, right? Make sense? Question so far? Easy, right? Yes, Jeff.
Will future value always be positive?
No. It depends. Let's say you want to go for something like you receive money, that's your borrowing. You're borrowing for real estate. You're borrowing for your car. That means you are getting the money right now, which you will pay back tomorrow. That's it. Then what do you think? Future value should be positive or negative? Right. Present value is positive. You're getting the money right now, right? Good question. Anyone else? Anything? Now, if we want to do it in Excel, how can we do that? Because if you join a company, you'll only have the laptop, Max, the calculator, that is your personal property, right? How can you do it in Excel? Any idea?
You call someone who knows how to use it.
Huh?
You call someone who knows how to use it.
Yeah, that's the answer. Whom should you call on the company? Me or someone else?
You open office hours, right?
Yeah. But I have officers for my students only, not someone who is working for operations. Okay, so let's just do two problems, one future value, one present value, because the structure is similar. Okay, you should be able to solve anything. So let's do this present value formula, right? So we know that we're going to invest for 17 years, right? And the future value we need is 150,000. Rate of return 8%. We need to calculate what? Present value, right? So let's populate the information. N is, let's see, N is 17 years. And then interest. 8%, right? Should we write 8 only in Excel? No, definitely not. Either do 0.08 or do this. Make sense? Present value we need to calculate. Payment is 0. And then future value 150. Future value. Right? You are with me? Now the formula we need is called PV. Just type in the equal, then type in PV. Hit the tab button. Now you will see that you don't need to memorize the formula. They are asking what the inputs you need, right? This is our rate, 8%. N par basically is N, number of periods, okay? 17. Payment is 0. Future value is here. Any idea what does it mean? What should we do? Even one.
Is zero.
Why?
The end of the 17th year.
Why not one?
Because that's a different type of equate for me. future value, present value, anything like that. It's different.
So we will talk about in the, maybe in 2 or 3 classes, but the idea is, if nothing mentioned, it is always assumed you will either receive or pay end of the period. If nothing mentioned, end of the period. Or sometimes on the problems on the real life, it may tell you, you are getting the real estate loan today, but you start paying for the loan from today. Suddenly it may tell you, okay? But if nothing mentioned, you are getting the real estate loan today, but you start paying end of 1 month or end of 1 year. Okay? So that's why you're gonna do 0. Did you get the same results? In Excel, if you use the present value formula and if the value is negative, they want to show like red color and in the parentheses. Okay, so don't get confused that that's wrong. If I do this way, so they just want to do it on the parentheses. Now let's do this one negative. Let's see. Did you see that? When I make this one negative, they make this one positive. Right? Which is not correct from our problems, because our problem say future value should be positive and present value should be negative. Can you do that in Excel calculator formula? Good. Okay. Let's see some future value 1. This is a future value problem, right? So let's populate again. Okay, you have $500 to invest today, right? So that should be 500. 8% per year for next 15 years. 15, 8%. 70, right? 15 years, 8% rate. Investment is $500, negative, payment is 0, right? Future value formula in Excel is called FV. If you click equation, then type FV, hit the tab, formula is given. You don't need to bother. So rate is 8%. Number of period is 15 years. Payment is 0. This is present value. Again, we're gonna do 0, right? Close the parenthesis, hit enter, 1586. Same results we got it from calculator, from the formula, right? As we did this one negative, this comes as positive, right? Questions? Present value, future value? Good so far? Okay, that's all from today. See you on next Tuesday, right? Okay.
After 4 quiz today.
You have a quiz today, right? Huh?
Will it open at 3?
It will open little early maybe today.
Okay.
I'll open little early.